If you're one of those who loves to see Luffy and his crew lose their temper, then you're in the right video. Today we're going to dive into 15 explosive and adrenaline-filled moments where our favorite characters simply couldn't hold back their emotions, whether in epic battles or tense confrontations, not to mention moments of pure fury. One Piece is full of scenes that make us vibrate and remember why we love this anime so much. So if you like Luffy, Zoro, and the company of One Piece, strengthen your engagement by liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and get ready to discover what happens when the heroes let go of their calm. Welcome to Nerdopolis. And when Luffy returns to the Sabaody archipelago after 2 years of training, he faces a group of pacifistas, advanced human weapons created by the world government that resemble Bartholomew Kuma. But this time, Luffy easily dodges the attacks of the government's weapons. The Straw Hat defeats the pacifistas with a single powerful attack using his armament Haki, leaving everyone, including me, speechless. After all, 2 years ago, the entire crew went through a lot of trouble with these pacifistas, but now, following our captain's words, they are too slow. Imagine being born into a lineage that doesn't need to work, and on top of that, you have the luck of being treated as a deity who can do whatever you want, whenever and with whomever you want. But your father thinks this isn't right and decides to give it up to have a common life among the poor. This is the story of Don Quixote do Flamingo, or Mingo, if you've been to Dressrosa. Of course, this goes wrong. After all, the celestial dragons are not only feared, but also hated by common citizens, and it doesn't take long for Doflamingo's family to be persecuted. They are beaten and tied up to be burned alive, all this after his mother had already died of hunger and disease. And it is at this moment that all of Doflamingo's hatred and revolt mix and turn into a gigantic determination, thus awakening his conqueror's Haki. One of Big Mom's daughters becomes the target of the Blackbeard pirates, due to her ability to read poneglyphs. The highlight here is the former Marine Admiral, now Blackbeard's ally, who demonstrates his strength, his overwhelming presence, and his devastating power. He simply shows that he is on another level, ending the fight in seconds. Luffy and his crew face Hody Jones and his followers to protect Fishman Island and its inhabitants. Realizing the seriousness of the situation and the need to protect his allies, not to mention the numerical disadvantage, Luffy decides to use his conqueror's Haki as an impressive display of power. Luffy unleashes a devastating wave that spreads across the battlefield, knocking down 50 warriors at once. I just wanted to add here, Zoro says that's the least he expects from the captain. This shows me the respect he has for Luffy, and One Piece is a true turning point for the Straw Hat crew. The pain of seeing his two friends fighting with such intensity shakes everyone. It's not just the going merry that's being left behind, but also a piece of the innocence and joy that always characterized this crew. The duel between Luffy and Usopp is a powerful example of how One Piece is more than just battles and adventures. It's a story about friendship, sacrifice, and difficult decisions that need to be made along the way. The focus here is not the duel between them, but the crew's disagreement and Luffy having to deal with it. As Zoro says, even though Luffy acts silly, he is the captain, and what he says must be followed. No one here is a child playing pirate. Zoro encounters the mysterious masked assassin known as Kamazo. Later, we would discover that he is actually Killer, Kid's right-hand man. The highlight here is that after Zoro is hit, he ends up pulling Kamazo's scythe and uses it to complete his Santoryu, showing that sadistic side that the character has, and he died when Corby was captured by the Blackbeard pirates. Garp takes action to rescue him, ignoring the danger and the fearsome reputation of the enemies. He throws himself into battle, facing the Blackbeard pirates with all his strength and experience. We always knew he was strong, but we finally discovered why Sengoku stopped him when Ace died. He demonstrated how far he would go to protect those he considers important, which results in one of the best moments of the anime for me, without a doubt. At the height of the Marineford War, when the battle seemed endless, Shanks and the red-haired pirates arrive with an overwhelming presence. Everyone, from pirates to marines, feels the crushing power of the king's Haki from Shanks. With a simple glance, he intimidates the strongest combatants and puts an end to the war. The impact of his arrival is so great that no one dares to challenge his authority. With his typical tranquility, he shows why the union of the Yonko ended the conflict and brought a brief but very powerful peace to the chaos. If you know Luffy, you know he's not the type to stand by and watch injustices happen. Seeing Hachi injured and Kami about to be sold as a slave, he completely loses control. His friends even try to hold him back, reminding him that attacking a celestial dragon can bring catastrophic consequences, even causing a Marine Admiral to descend on the island. However, with an expression of pure fury on his face, Luffy marches towards St. Charlos, ignoring all warnings and pleas. And then, my friends, what all One Piece fans were waiting for happens. Luffy lets out a furious scream and delivers a powerful punch to St. Charlos's face, sending him flying. The sound of the punch echoes through the auction house, leaving everyone present speechless, unable to believe what they had just witnessed. After all, no one dares to raise a hand against a celestial dragon, but Luffy, with his unwavering unerring sense of justice, did exactly that. This moment is epic for what it represents. Luffy doesn't care about the consequences when it comes to protecting his friends and fighting against injustice. He showed that even in the world of One Piece, where power and social status often determine people's destinies, there is still room for those who believe in justice and respect for others. On Sabaody Island, where the new and worst generation of pirates ends up meeting and clashing with the Marine forces, amidst the chaos, we are introduced to Kizaru, one of the 3 Marine admirals who arrives with a bang, showing what a fleet admiral can do. Apu even uses his music-based attacks, catching Kizaru by surprise for a moment and causing what appears to be lethal damage. However, Kizaru's ability to reconstruct himself from light particles shows how formidable he is. He defeats incredibly strong pirates, showing the difference in power between the new generation and the Marine elite. During the confrontation in Amazon Lily, Hancock has to deal with the Marines and the newest Emperor of the Sea, Marshal D. Teach. Using his 2 devil fruits, he quickly dominates Hancock. When all seems lost, the legendary former right-hand man of the Pirate King makes a sensational entrance. Despite his age, he demonstrates why he is a living legend, using his king's Haki to neutralize Blackbeard's threat. Recognizing the seriousness of the situation and the formidable strength of the Dark King, Blackbeard chooses to retreat. The Ope Ope no Mi is one of the strongest fruits in the entire One Piece series. However, Marshal D. Teach is perhaps one of the people who knows the most about the Ope Ope no Mi in the anime. The battle is intense and shows the unique abilities of each character. Law uses his abilities to manipulate space and create zones of effect, while Blackbeard uses the power of darkness and the earthquake to create devastation. The combat reveals how strong Teach is and highlights the threat Blackbeard represents in the world of One Piece. Everything was more or less under control in the Marineford War. Whitebeard, until then, was just holding back, using his absurd strength just to clear a path to Ace, until Akainu had the brilliant idea of attacking the Emperor's son. That's when things started to go wrong for the Marines. Whitebeard, who everyone knew as a patient strategist and a calm leader, simply dropped everything and went after Akainu with uncontrolled fury. Each of Whitebeard's blows caused earthquakes and tsunamis. Even being one of the most powerful men in the world, Akainu realizes that he had poked the wrong beast. Whitebeard was going 1,000 miles an hour and had nothing left to lose. All Akainu could do was try to survive the uncontrollable fury coming his way. Whitebeard's blows were so devastating that it seemed like the planet itself was in danger. After defeating one of the emperors, Kid, with his confidence soaring, decides to attack the red-haired pirates with everything. The fight quickly demonstrates Shanks' superiority. He manages to neutralize Kid's actions with ease, proving his status and strength in a very convincing way. The difference in power and ability between the two is evident, with Shanks maintaining his calm and controlled posture. Kid's defeat is a strong reminder of the power difference between the red-haired pirates and the aspiring emperors. The scene reinforces Shanks' reputation as one of the most powerful and respected pirates in this world. When Luffy encounters Oden's defeated retainers, and after Kinnaman's request for the straw hat to bear the burden of Wano on his shoulders, we see Luffy using his enhanced Haki. He attacks Kaido with impressive force, concentrating all his power in a single punch. Luffy's attack manages to hurt the leader of the Beast Pirates, a feat that few have achieved until then. And then, guys, which of these moments marked you the most? Is there any other that was left out of this list and deserves to be highlighted? Leave it here in the comments, share your opinion with us, and before saying goodbye, don't forget to strengthen your engagement by liking and subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to activate the bell to not miss any videos about this incredible One Piece universe.